With Thanksgiving Day in the rear view, there is no denying that the Christmas season is upon us, and with that, it's time for another tour of Rudy and the Holiday Express. On the day after Thanksgiving, CPKC hosted a private event for the employees of the railroad before embarking on a 13-stop tour through Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. The following morning, the Holiday Express will depart Shreveport and make way for its first public show in Jackson, Mississippi. Since we will not be climbing aboard until the last leg of the trip, what better way to spend a beautiful Saturday than chasing the train along the Vicksburg subdivision? On what seemed to be the coldest morning in North Louisiana yet, we would arrive to the yard at 7 a.m. Despite the Holiday Express being on today's agenda, CPKC still has plenty of freight to move. Arriving into the south end of the yard is a manifest led by a pair of SD-70 Maces. Shortly after this train cleared, dispatch would give the word that KCS number 1 was clear to depart and make its way onto the Meridian Speedway. A few minutes would pass and the morning sun would shine on the set of the F units as it eased over North Lakeshore Drive. We would make haste to position ourselves in Houghton. It might have been overkill though, because the Holiday Express would be held up in Shreveport to allow multiple freight trains to pass and also to allow some MOW to wrap up track maintenance in the city. We'd first see westbound train I-167 with a pair of stallions racing towards Shreveport and later Wiley, Texas. The westbound's counterpart train, I-166, would be one of 2 trains running ahead of the Holiday Express for much of today's run. We wouldn't film the next stack train, but it would pass and right on its tail would be our Mary train. We were pleasantly surprised by the amount of people out along the line chasing the Holiday Express. We met with locals, of course, but to our surprise, many traveled hundreds of miles from various states, and we even met one fella who flew 5,000 miles from England to see these F units in action. KCS-1 has a clear indication through milepost 115 at Walnut Creek Road between Arcadia and Simsboro. Due to following close behind two other eastbounds, our train is running at restricted speeds, which allows us to leapfrog ahead of it at the Control Point 110 crossover in Simsboro. Positioned on top of the Bonner Street Bridge in Ruston, we've caught up with a stack train ahead of it. The Holiday Express is a few miles back, stopped to give some space between this train. Leading the charge is the gorgeous set of Kansas City Southern F units. It's not really a mystery why these have been a railfan favorite over the years. The KCS-1 sports a decal commemorating former KCS president Michael Haverty. He can be credited with the creation of this business train in his early days as president in the 1990s. Along with the honor of hauling the Holiday Express, including its staff and volunteers, the Bell also makes trips for executives, clients, and guests of honors. The F units and the business passenger cars are based out of Shreveport, Louisiana, in what the railroad calls the Bell House. In Monroe, we found the 166 that we saw hours earlier in the siding to allow the Holiday Express to race ahead of it. Since crossing the Ouachita River, the Holiday Express now cruises through the Louisiana Delta to make way for Mississippi. In Mound, the train is just a few miles from the Mississippi River. The Bell is rolling along at track speed in an attempt to make it to Jackson on time for the show. We are going to wrap this up along the S-curve tunnel portal in Vicksburg. While the river bridge was our first choice, there was just way too many people for my taste, and I got the shot last year, so we just settled with this. This was just a good old-fashioned chase video, but be on the lookout closer towards Christmas Day for our production showcasing the Holiday Express's events with the people and the work put in to make it happen. We'll be boarding the train to volunteer on December 10th for the remainder of the events. I hope to see many of you during the shows and would love to meet many of you. I hope you've enjoyed watching this classic train along the Vicksburg subdivision. Until the next time, my friends, I'll be seeing you somewhere out there along the rails, and I'd like to wish you a very happy holiday season.